got outplayed.
Absolutely.
And then he lost this, he blundered this pawn in what looked like he was finally back in the game. And then it turns out that he was losing, but then to hang mate in one under the pressure, and you see him there, the world's best player.
So clearly reflecting on something. I don't think he, definitely doesn't look happy, but he tries to find, I don't know, the mojo to continue.
Look at the fans. I mean, there are throngs of fans there, and wow, that body language says it all. I don't know how infuriated he is at the moment, or is he embarrassed, or what is the body, man, what is going on in the mind right now of this genius?
And look, Maurice, that's the first time, I think, when he is seated before his opponent, before the round. We used to see him like coming at the very last moment or even like few seconds late.
Actually, is something strange going on, because did they start on other boards already? American superstar. Well, I can call him that because he's a top 20 player, not just saying that with hyperbole. And he has so many detractors from his history, that what he's admitted, let's just be clear, he admitted cheating online, and that alone has really put him under the garbage truck for many. Just disrespect. Nobody wants to forgive him as a youngster, and he will ever have that label. But he has also resurrected his play and shown that he is a force to deal with, and pretty much of a rebel. He's always going to be the bad boy of chess, no matter what he does, probably. All he can do is, as he says, let the chess speak for itself.
Right, and we needed a rebel, if you will, like, because, well, the problem, in my understanding, with all those, like, the very top players, that usually they're too nice of a guys. I really like having Hans, and also, wow, look, I mean, he's playing absolutely fantastic chess so far.
I see you're here for the drama.
Absolutely.
Well, there are many who would disagree with that, but I have to say, drama he does bring with him wherever he goes, and he's just going to be the bad boy of chess, and he's playing against someone who some people think kind of has that bad boy edge as well, but I don't think he has anything on Hans in that department, as Magnus is somebody that's also beloved by many. Hans here, though, with a win, will literally cinch the match, so Magnus has to be careful. I don't think Hans wants to be too careful, however, because you start playing for a draw.
Against Magnus, no, it's not a good plan, right? So you're trying to be a bit too defensive, and sometimes like exchanging, making concessions, and at the end, doesn't end well against Magnus Carlsen.
No, you want to catch a flow and act as though you've been there before, and now he's traded off his bishop, now giving Magnus the advantage of the two bishops, a very strong bishop, and now Magnus in complete flow, as he has captured once on d5 and then played the move
c4. And yeah, well, this, at least the opening stage, clearly went Magnus's way, we can say.
That bishop on f4 is really annoying. It's taking a look at that bishop. And now c5, looking to solve his problems in absolutely one fell swoop. But Magnus said, nope, actually, my pieces are all better developed than yours. Your rooks are not in the center as yet. So if it's a moment, it feels like it should be now that Magnus finds the move.
Yeah, so, well, d8 c5 is what he ended up playing. After knight c5, the queen's going to go to a3, I'm guessing.
Was that the right way to approach this position? I'm a little surprised by this liquidation of taking on c5. Normally, you don't want to trade things that quickly, and the knight doesn't seem as though it's poorly placed on c5.
Yeah, the knight on c5 is great. Well, Magnus went queen to b2. There is a little pin over there, right? You cannot take on c4. Cannot take on c4 because bishop d6. So there is still some tension in the position. But yeah, but Magnus, since he started exchanging, like now he also captures cd5, so he was the one to give up on holding tension in the center, and usually that means that black, well, closer to equality that he used to be. So f6, bishop d4, right?
f6 played. Magnus has paused on this move, whether or not to play the move bishop to d4. It looks like the most obvious response. And he has now played it, but Hans just moved his rook over. And black has completed his development to the detriment of those light squares on the king side. You see that g6, h7-ish possibilities. Can Magnus take advantage of it? And he's going to try to massage that at some point. Knight to a4. And the queen, did the queen go?
Queen dropped in the
A1.
corner because has to control c3. Otherwise, the knight's appearance on c3 would be very unpleasant.
And the knight dropped back to c5 immediately, and now queen to b1. We're
B1.
talking about those squares, and now a little annoying repetition.
Knight a4.
Daring the queen to land on that g6 square, where it will be chased back by the move bishop to f7.
Yeah. So on queen g6, that'd be bishop f7 move. But Magnus currently doesn't really know what to do against knight to c3. Queen a1 back, knight c5 back, and I think he went bishop c4.
c4. Now bishop f7, guarding those light squares just a bit. And the question,
a4
played.
Okay.
Looking to break up those pawns on that side, but it just feels as though black has so many good squares. I think, did he play knight b4?
Yeah, he's done it. Now before bishop takes c5, the rooks were traded, and then
A very interesting moment here. Why is white better? And pawn takes.
Hans decided to take with the pawn and
I'm
queen to c3.
pretty surprised by that move, but that's actually an aggressive posture taking
Yeah,
the pawn.
absolutely.
So let me create a passed pawn. I'm the one with threats here. Hard to understand as that blockade on c4 looks pretty sturdy, but he does have a rook behind the passed pawn. And the only passed pawn in the position is his. And now the move, what?
Knight a2.
What?
Wow. Knight a2 is not a good move, let me tell you, because queen d3 apparently almost wins for white.
Almost wins.
Yeah. And Magnus finds it. I still do not pick the idea of knight before queen f5.
That just accelerated white's entry into the light
Hitting
squares.
this one, and rook d7 is a threat. And he might be losing his c5 pawn. Would he go rook d8, right? Just trade the rooks. Yeah, in case of rook d8, you just trade rooks, trade bishops, capture c5.
But what about rook to c7?
Yeah, it is the best move, but then white trades on f7, and you'll have to take with the king.
Yes.
Which is quite
But
unpleasant.
what's so bad about that?
Yeah.
Now he's hesitating. Now he's hesitating. He realizes his error. That really bold or maybe rash move, knight to a2, has caused him a world of hurt. And he's played
rook d8.
d8.
So he's given up the c5 pawn.
He has indeed. And he's going to suffer
Right.
a very unfortunate-looking ending when Magnus takes that pawn on that c5 square. And it's gone from the board. What a mistake on his part, playing this knight a2 move. Looks like Magnus is back in business, a tremendous edge on the clock, 1:16 to only 10 seconds left, and now the move a5, trying to keep the knight strong.
Knight to d4, and what a tremendously strong knight on d4 that one is. Queen takes, white king is safe, and then
And now
the queen gets to f7.
Rut-row. We are now talking, whoa, offering a knight ending. That should be...
Queen to g8.
That looks bad in my opinion, but Magnus decides I don't need the ending, actually.
My
You
queen
have 5
is-
seconds
yeah.
on the clock.
My
4,
queen is more
3,
active.
2, 1, and he finally played his knight back, attacking the queen. And now the queen goes after, and that's going to be it. The queen cannot maintain the defense of everything after this move. Queen d7 was impossible because of knight
Queen
f8
d8,
check.
yeah,
And now
queen
he's just
d8.
lost a piece, and that is that. Magnus ties the match.
What a comeback.